This is Brittney Slays from Unleash the Archers, and you're listening to Rhino Radio.
Or here from Rhino Radio, and today I have the honor and pleasure of chatting to Brittney of Unleash the Archers. How are you doing today, Brittney?
I'm doing well, thanks. How about you?
I'm very good, very good. Very excited for the weekend. Although, unfortunately, no shows in sight, which is something we're going
No.
to talk about in a second. But we are kind of in the run up to a new album that you guys are releasing. Abyss is coming out on August 21st.
It
If I got
is,
to,
yes.
if I got to write some sort of a sequel to Apex from a few years ago, so we're reunited with the Immortal.
Yes.
And before we jump in, I want to confront you with a rumor that I found online. Fans are excited or scared that we're finally going to hear about the Immortal's source of life, which is apparently Sour Patch Kids. Is that is that going to be revealed in the new album?
Well, no, unfortunately, the origin story of the Immortal is being saved for another time. Um, so that won't be revealed. But, I think all things are probably propelled by Sour Patch Kids in life if you want them to be. So that's pretty funny, though. I haven't seen that one yet. So unfortunately, no, no secrets.
Well, thank you for sharing and shedding the light on that one. Unfortunately, not a happy ending. But on the same area, so the world is kind of coming out of lockdown. I'm not sure exactly how things are going on in Canada right now. But I was wondering, what was your source of positivity? What kept you going during lockdown? Obviously, everything is changing. The future is uncertain. So, except for Sour Patch Kids, what were you doing to make you motivated and see the silver lining?
Twitch, actually. I had discovered it pretty much right after we got back from the Dragon Force tour that we were on that got cut short because of COVID. And Herman Lee is on Twitch, and he was streaming like the whole time, and he was putting us on his streams and stuff, and it was a lot of fun, and it was really cool interacting with people that way. So when we got home, both Andrew and myself jumped on Twitch and created accounts and started streaming a little bit, but mostly just like finding other streamers and hanging out and being introduced to the community and learning about how the whole thing works and all the fun stuff that happens over there and the lingo. And I mean, it's been great. It's just, it's a great way to get to hang out with people and be with people, even though you're miles apart from one another. And so we were quarantined for 14 days when we got back, of course. So couldn't go anywhere, couldn't go to the store, couldn't see friends, couldn't do anything. So Twitch became kind of like, a little party zone for us. So it was, I mean, I'm really, really excited for the future of this kind of um, online content. I think streamers are huge now, and they're just kind of like celebrities basically. So it's really cool, and I'm really excited to hang out on Twitch more and game with everybody.
So does it mean we should expect some sort of release party online
Uh,
for this?
Probably, yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay, I'll be looking forward for that. Um, and from online activities and also touring, you probably bumped into a lot of people, again, online or in person, and people like titling, like pigeonholing, and you kind of fit in so many boxes, the traditional one, but obviously we're nothing alike those definitions. So between probably being called a metalhead or not enough metal, and maybe being a nerd or not nerdy enough, and maybe even sometimes being called the big word an adult, what was the weirdest
Uh,
title that you got? And you thought, really, am I? Or am I not? Or were you just shocked by the title that you got?
I mean, I don't think so. We kind of try and let everything just, water off a duck's back kind of thing. So when people call us certain genres or anything like that, it's always just kind of like, yeah, good one, or like, yeah, sure, I could see that, maybe, that, no big deal. So there's nothing really that stands out to me, like kind of a moment where I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I haven't really had that so far. So, I mean, there have been moments where people have, said, oh, you guys are power metal. I don't like power metal. And then it's kind of like, no, like, we're not. I mean, we are, but we're not. And it's just kind of like just listen to it, give it a shot. So it's yeah. I mean, you just kind of hope that people have an open mind um, but yeah, no moment where I was kind of like, don't call me that yet. So who knows?
Do you remember a specific moment that you realized that you are an adult, whether it's taxes or getting excited about, I don't know, kitchenware? I get really excited when I go buying kitchenware.
No, I still don't feel like an adult. I'm not good at the adulting thing. I I mean I try. I have this like motto, I guess, in life where I try and always act my shoe size, which is 7.5. So I just try and be a kid as much as I can about everything. And I mean, yeah, sure, there are moments where I'm kind of like, oh God, I have to go to work and make money and provide for myself. And it's just kind of like, what happened to those days when I had no responsibilities and I could just do whatever I wanted all the time? But I still look at adults and I'm like, yeah, I'm not like that. Even though I totally am. Uh, yeah, no, I don't know. It's weird. It is totally weird. I think music keeps you young though, for sure.
It's all in your head. It's whatever
Yeah.
age you think you are, that's
Mhm.
what you are. Although
Mhm.
there's always going to be a kid that's going to come and call you ma'am or sir, and you're going to be annoyed by it.
Oh, yes. No, I still to this day do not call anyone ma'am. I always say miss. Excuse me, miss. And then when they're older, they're like, oh, thank you. I'm like, yeah, I know how it feels. So,
And with all the free time that we had, and I know that you guys get inspired by other films or books, is there a specific film, book, game that you've really enjoyed and surprised you over the last couple of months?
uh, I mean, I haven't had a lot of time, to be honest. We started like getting everything ready for the record the moment we got home. So it's been one thing after the other, organizing music videos, doing interviews and things like this. Um, we had to do all the artwork for the CD and everything, like get all of that organized. And there was a lot to do because we did a special edition yearbook. So there was so much to do with that. And then we've been working on doing this live stream for the European Metal Festival Alliance. And it's just kind of like one thing after the other. Something else has to be done in preparation for the record to be released. So I started reading the Witcher books, and I'm like halfway through book 2, and I just cannot find the time to pick it up again, even though it's really awesome and I love it. And streaming is really difficult as well, but I've kind of given that time to myself as the time when I get to play video games. So I'm like, okay, well I'll try and stream like once a week, and then I'll get to play video games that and only then, because I just don't have time to do it any other time. And now I'm finding that I don't even have time to do that. So it's just kind of like, I just want to like relax. Like everyone else is talking about how they have nothing to do and they're so bored, and I'm like, oh my God, what I'd give for that feeling right now. um but I mean, yeah, I mean, there's I don't know. I watched the Formula One show actually on Netflix. Took that down pretty quick, 2 seasons of it. And so now Scott and I are like both totally hooked on F1. Like we both have the app now, and like I subscribe to their Instagram and Twitter um the YouTube channel, are constantly going through all the videos that they have on there. So like total F1 nerds now as well, in addition to books, movies, video games, and comic books.
And along all those topics, and also let's drop music in, do you believe in guilty pleasures? Or is
No,
there's no such thing?
no, absolutely not. If you like something, be proud of it. Don't, who cares what people think? I listen to a lot of music that people would be like, really? Like, why do you listen to that? Like Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, whatever, like if you think that I should be ashamed of that, then you don't get music. It's not about rules or hindering yourself in any way. If you hear something and you like it, who cares that it's not metal? Just listen to it and be proud of the fact that you like all different types of music. And don't, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you say, oh no, I only listen to metal, and then you refuse to go outside that box, because you don't know what you're missing out on. There could be some really awesome country music that you don't even know exists, because you say to yourself, I don't like that, but you're putting this fence up that is totally unnecessary. Whose rules are you following? Why are you doing this to yourself? Is there someone out there in the universe that says you're only allowed to like metal, and that you won't be cool, you won't be considered a metalhead if you do? It's just, I think it's yeah, you're just kind of selling yourself short a little bit on that. And so I honestly, like, I'll watch the worst movies ever. Like, I'm a horror movie buff, so I watched absolute trash. You have to filter through so much garbage as a horror movie fan to get to the good stuff. But I'll always just be like, hell yeah, like, sure, it was a crappy movie, but it entertained me. That's what we're here for, right? So yeah, I definitely do not believe in guilty pleasures.
Thank you.
long and long, short answer, done long. I don't
But
know.
thank you for sharing that. I bet a few people needed to hear that. And one final question: if, from your experience as a musician, but also as a fan, traveling the world, bumping into different sides of the music scene, is there something that you think that other fans or musicians, or maybe even the industry suits, we need to change, either do more or stop doing, that will make people, again, fans and musicians, feel more welcome and safer, or anything you think we need to do to make it more welcoming for everyone?
I mean, there's been, things here and there where it's kind of like, oh man, like the venue infrastructure in North America is not even close to what it is in Europe. And I also feel like musicians are treated sort of differently. It's like in Europe, it feels like they're not so much respected more, but it's kind of like it's a treasure, and it's a really large part of the culture. And so musicians are, um, yeah, I guess it is just given a little bit more respect over there than they are here. Whereas in North America, I feel like it's just another commodity, maybe. Everyone's in it to make money as opposed to have it be an enriching part of their life. But I mean, I could be totally wrong on that. But it's just that some parts of the infrastructure in North America, like the venues and sometimes even um, the booking slash promoting structure of everything. It's it's not it never it's not easy to get into, for one thing. No one ever gives you a chance. There's like you don't just get the opportunity. You have to like really work your butt off for it. And only once you have finally shown everyone what you can do they finally even give you, an inch. So it's just, and whereas I feel like in Europe, you have a talented band that plays a couple good shows, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh yeah, awesome, and they're going to their shows and they're being put on tours, and they're being noticed by festivals and by media, and it's just like, it's just so much faster, like that being discovered or whatever happens over in Europe, because it's just just the way that it is embraced over there, I feel like is very different from North America, where we're just like constantly struggling uphill. Um, but I mean, that doesn't say anything for the fans, because the fans over here are absolutely incredible, and we've had support from not just Canadians but American fans for years, and they've kind of, they've been the ones that have kept us afloat, and we're just starting to grow, ourselves over in Europe. So it's kind of a, also as bands, I think we need to support one another. I think that there seems to be, and it's not so much us that does it. Sometimes it's the outside influences that make us compete against one another, especially in the female fronted community. Like there can be only one female fronted death metal band at the time. It's just kind of like, what? Stop doing that. Which vocalist is better? Rah. Like, who? No. You can have a million metal bands. Like, stop doing that. And we also need to support one another, not just, and I'm not just talking about females, I mean, as bands. I mean, if you have a young up and coming band that asks you a question about, like, hey, how did you do this thing? Or how did you get on that show or whatever? Tell them, share, be supportive, bring them on tour with you if you can. Fight for the younger bands, because this time where the big four or whatever is like the only metal bands that get any kind of exposure needs to end. And if we continue on that track, 20 years from now, it's going to be the same bands, and there's going to be no growth and no ingenuity, and we need to foster these young musicians. I think it's just so important to support the local scene. And when you find a band that you really like, and you can see the potential, like, help them, do what you can, and freaking be nice to each other. Really, like I mean, that's the most that I can say.
Well, thank you very much for sharing the love. They kind of annihilated my last question about the album and battles and who you want to battle. I cannot go into that now after all that love that you spread. So I'll just wrap it up. We said that Abyss is coming out on the 21st of August. I've already had the listen. It's amazing. So many great guitar solos, vocals, amazing stories, great stuff. Cannot wait to
Thank
hear
you.
more responses to that when it comes out in just a couple of weeks. Is there anything else you want to add to fans and listeners out there before we say goodbye, Brittney?
Well, I'm not sure when this is going to be posted, but we're doing the European Metal Festival Alliance, so we're going to have a set that'll stream on that, which I think is the second week in August. And then we will be doing a show kind of thing for the album release. And just follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'll be posting on there a ton. Pre-order the album if you like from Napalm or Indie Merch Store, and follow us on Bands in Town. It's where we're going to announce all of our tour dates going forward, and you will get like a notification that tells you when we're coming anywhere in the vicinity of where you live. So I think that's definitely the best place to follow us for tour updates, and there's going to be a lot of those coming up if COVID allows. But we're working on a lot of dates for 2021, so it's going to be a packed schedule. But yeah, and just thanks for the support. Thanks for listening.
Hey, Brittney, Unleash the Archers, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for confronting all my rumors.
Well, thank you for having me.